Hi again, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of Inside Furman Athletics. I am Dan Scott. It is great to have you with us. Hope that you had a good off week as far as football is concerned, but not an off week around here for much of anything else where fall sports are concerned. Basketball practice actually started yesterday on campus, so things are really gearing up. And we get to talk today to one of the coaches who has the, we'll call it the privilege, I guess, of actually being able to play your sport both in the fall and the spring.
That's right.
Matt Davidson, the men's golf coach here at Furman, entering season number 8, right?
8th season, yep. Thanks, Dan.
Has it gone by quickly?
It has, yeah. It's gone by very, very quickly. I think that's the stage of life I'm in a little bit too. A couple young kids, and everything seems to be going by pretty quick.
Well, what's gone by quicker, the 8 years as a head coach or the time you spent here as a golfer?
Probably the head coach.
Really?
For some, yeah. I just think as you get older, it seems like things start moving a little too quick sometimes.
And
but
people,
yeah, it's gone by quick.
Young people don't understand that, do they? You know,
No.
I can remember my parents, my grandparents saying, the older you get, time seems to move quicker. And I'm like, yeah, old man, hush.
Yeah.
But boy, were they right.
Yeah, you got to appreciate it for sure.
So how you been?
Good. Yeah, it's been good. We've played 2 tournaments. We got 5 in the fall and 6 in the spring, and then hopefully NCAAs again, which we've got to 2 out of the last 3 years. We got to keep that going. So yeah, like you said, we got counts the same in the fall and the spring, even though the conference championship and the NCAAs are in the spring. But we get right off the bat, the tournaments are just as important now as they are in the spring. So I guess it's a privilege, but it makes you guys have to be sharp for a whole year.
Especially if you're trying to indoctrinate young golfers in, and we'll talk about the makeup of your roster, but if freshmen are coming in, whereas maybe they've got in other sports, especially a spring-only sport, you've got some time to get adjusted to life as the student portion of a student athlete here at Furman, which we've talked about before. Student actually does come first in student athlete here. They have to do both things simultaneously in a sport like golf.
Makes it tough, yeah, and sometimes that process takes a whole year, and I think that's in our sport. I think you see a lot of times you see a big jump between their freshman and sophomore years when they get back on campus and as sophomores and really know the routine academically, practice-wise, qualifying tournaments. So it is, yeah. We actually brought the guys back a few days early before school even started because they were qualifying and trying to get in the lineup that first weekend. I mean, so the freshmen are there for about 4 days before they're already playing, and you're competing about a week later, so they need to show up ready to go, and it's tough when you're bouncing all that as a freshman.
We have talked about it numerous times on this show, but I think it bears repeating that now in my 15th year here, I've talked to obviously a number of athletes in all sports, and usually when I talk to freshmen, I'll ask them, I know you heard what it was like at Furman because of the academics and everything that's required of you there. I said, but did you have any idea really until you got here? And invariably they all say no.
Right.
They heard about it, but until they experienced it, they didn't really understand.
Yeah, and it's obviously doable for sure, but it's just something where, unless you're in an environment in high school that's really, you have to manage your time just incredibly well once you get here between all the obligations athletically and otherwise.
How long did it take you to learn time management skills?
I think I struggled a little bit my freshman year for sure, and I was lucky enough to be in the lineup right off the bat, and that's when you start missing class and traveling, and it was I redshirted actually my senior year, which was unusual, so I did end up spreading it out a little bit over 5 years, which helped a bit. But it's a learning process, and some get it quicker than others.
So what's the makeup of this current edition of the Paladins men's golf team?
Yeah, it's a good mix. It's definitely we have 3 seniors that have been in the lineup the first 2 events, and I imagine are going to be a backbone of the lineup, and especially if we're going to be successful this year. And Clark Akers and Harris Barth were all conference last year, and they're back as seniors. And then Zach Frazier's the other senior who had a great summer. He's been kind of in and out of the lineup his first few years, and now he's getting to see his first real consistent action. And but hard worker, really good player, was in the lineup. So those 3 seniors, and then we have a lot of young guys too, freshmen, sophomores. First 2 events we had a sophomore, Walter Anderson, who was playing his first college event in the lineup, and then the second event we had a freshman, Cameron Reed, who was playing his first college event in the lineup. So it's a sophomore, and then a sophomore named Ludvig Josephson from Sweden, who did play all year last year as a freshman and was on the all conference freshman team. So it's kind of a mix of some experience, some older guys, and then definitely we're gonna have some younger guys that are getting their first cracks at it.
Is it safe to say then that the fortunes of this team for this golf season is going to rest on how quickly those young guys come along?
Yeah, well, I think like I said, those 3 seniors and Ludwig, they've have a lot of experience. So I think the kind of the core of the lineup is got the experience, but then we've certainly have a lot of young talented players who haven't seen a lot of action, and
right.
You really need if you're going to accomplish the goals we want to accomplish, which is try to win the conference championship and try to get to NCAA regionals and beyond, you need all 5 guys. Really, you need 5 guys in the lineup that can go out on any given week and finish in the top 20, even the top 10 in the golf tournament for sure. So in order to do that, we're going to need some of the younger guys to shorten this learning curve and develop and start getting in there and doing some damage.
So when you say that, from your standpoint, the fall is as important as the spring, we know that the conference season, the conference championship, the champion goes on to the NCAAs. We know how that works. What is it about the fall then that you're placing that weight of importance on?
So we're a multi-bid league. We're I would say almost the best mid-major golf conference in the nation. So we've had us, Chattanooga, East Tennessee State, and then UNC Greensboro, and there's all 4 of us have been to the NCAA tournament multiple times in the same year the last few years. So it's been a multi-bid league, and there's other programs too that are getting better, but it's a scenario for us where 2 out of the last 3 years we've been gotten at-large bids to the NCAA tournament, and then they don't. It's a ranking that's based off point average that you get per tournament, and then the first tournament counts the exact same as the last tournament, and it goes up based off an average. And last year we got the last bid to the entire deal. We got the final at-large bid, so it probably came down to a shot or 2 in that, whether that's the first tournament or the last tournament. So that's why certainly why it counts right from the start.
I would imagine then that part of the maturation process for a young collegiate golfer, understanding that that's how at-large bids are done, not to obsess and stress over every single missed shot or everything early on. You've still got to find a way to file it away and move forward and not allow yourself to sit and stew, so to speak.
Yeah, and I thought we did a good job of that last year, and I thought we learned. So 3 years ago, when we got an at-large bid, we were ranked in the top 50 at the end of the fall, and usually the bids go to about the mid-60s, depending on how many team steal bids and what happens in the conference championships. But I thought that year we sort of tried to protect a little bit in the spring, and that was a year where East Tennessee State happened to be a top 10 team in the entire nation. So the conference championship was going to be tough, we knew, to win. Doable but tough. So I think that year we kind of like probably did look a little too much at where we were throughout the spring, and you'd have a bad tournament, you'd slip a little bit, and you'd say, well, we got a little bit of cushion. You try to protect, And then I thought we did a better job of that last year of just, we all know it's there. There's no need to talk about it. We just need to prepare the best we can for every tournament and then go and try to, go out and grab it and get it, go go play great rather than protect. And
Well,
we did a better job of that last year, and you kind of learn from the experience.
but we hear this in other sports often, and sometimes it's in basketball if you've got a big lead, or even sometimes in football you've got a big lead. We hear the phrase, well, they're playing, instead of playing to win, they're playing not to lose.
Right.
There's a mental difference there. Normally, if you're playing not to lose, bad things
That's
can
right.
happen. Is that a
Absolutely.
is that a
in
comparison?
golf. Absolutely, yeah. And it, I don't think when you're out there playing, it doesn't mean you take unnecessary risks, but it's certainly in golf, it's huge to to play great, to swing to make confident great swings rather than trying to not hit bad shots and
Right.
not shoot high scores. Absolutely.
And yet, as a former pastor of mine was fond of saying, it's easy preaching and hard living.
It's a
Sometimes,
lot harder
isn't it?
said than done. Yeah. Yeah, it's a very mental sport, and I think anytime you're playing in a way you're not protecting and you're trying to kind of show off and play great rather than trying to not play poorly is very helpful.
We are visiting with Matt Davidson, talking about the Furman's men's golf program. The fall portion of their schedule's underway. 2 tournaments under their belt: the Bearcat Invitational at Cincinnati and the Gopher Invitational at Minnesota. The Bearcat Invitational, Harris Barth actually won that tournament. I know you weren't exactly pleased with the overall team finish, but from an individual standpoint, to go into a tournament in Cincinnati and win, that's a pretty good accomplishment.
It's a great, and Harris is a phenomenal player. He was he was all freshman team his freshman year. He was all conference his sophomore year and his junior year. And his year last year was so consistent. He had the lowest stroke average in the conference. He was just nipped out as far as the conference player of the year goes. But he hadn't won a tournament. He'd been in contention a bunch. He was just very consistent. And I knew he wanted that pretty badly. That's been on his circled on his goals for since he was a freshman. And to finally get that done, I think it's just going to make him more comfortable next time he's in that scenario. And I know it felt good. It was a great field too. That was a strong field to get your first win, a challenging course and a strong field. So it was a pretty nice one to get as your first win.
That's one of the amazing things about sports, regardless of what sport you're talking about, team sports, individual sports. The only way to learn how to win and to function when the pressure is on is to play when the pressure is on.
Yeah.
You can talk about it, you can imagine it, you can do all those things, but the only way we saw it with Furman football going back a couple of years, the reason they were able to win all of those close games in 2023 and 2022 is because of all the close games that same group had been in 2021 that didn't go their way.
Sure.
So the only way you can get there is to be there, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think Harris had learned from being close. So that's part of the learning process and the learning curve. And then I think once you do it, it's as much then about just being confident now next time you're in that scenario that I've been there, I've done that, and we play a really tough schedule. We do that purposely. I think that's the best way to test ourselves. I think it helps for recruiting. I think it helps for our ranking. I think it helps for for our development. But it makes it so it's not easy for our guys to just go out and win tournaments left and right. I mean, it's a pretty strong schedule. So to get a guy to get it done like that. I know Will Moreland won 3 times his sophomore year. That was a few years ago, but it's good to get individual winners.
Yeah, so coming off of that, you've got a trip to Dallas coming up October 5th through the 7th, the Trinity Forest Invitational, October 13th and 14th in Little Rock, Arkansas, at the Everett Buick GMC Classic, before you get back here for your final match. And we're going to talk about that final match of the fall with the Furman Intercollegiate here on campus. So we'll talk about all of that. But all of these tournaments, I mean, Minnesota, Cincinnati, Dallas, Little Rock, all designed to challenge this team, right?
Yeah, and then the spring schedules could even be more challenging. A lot of good, solid fields, and a lot of top 20 teams in the nation. And that's what you have to do. I mean, I think you want to plan on your team playing to their potential, and if you do that, you want to have a schedule that supports that good play in in rankings and results and
Right.
things that can help your program. So I think it's good. We look for really good golf courses and really good competition when we're trying to make our schedule.
So you opened the season with a tying for 8th place at the Gopher Invitational in Minnesota.
Yep.
And as Julie Perry was helping me prep for this, she was telling me that finish looks better than maybe, or is better than maybe it looks because of the amount of Power 5 teams that were there. Are you buying what she's selling?
Yeah, I wish we'd done better. We actually had the low round of the final round to move up back into the middle of the pack there. So struggled a little bit the first 36-hole day, and then had a great finish. So we had some momentum going to Cincinnati, and it's just golf sometimes. I mean, we went around that practice round in Cincinnati, and the guys were looking good, and everybody was feeling good, and we were pretty optimistic. And really that week, other than Harris, obviously, just came down to some putting. Like the guys really struggled on the greens. I think we do tend to have a team that probably strikes the ball maybe a little better strength-wise than we are putting, and that's something we're going to have to keep working on. But then sometimes you just get in a set of greens that you have trouble matching the speed and the reads, and you start to lose a little bit of confidence as you miss putts. And I guess that we had some guys just really have a rough week on the greens, and then but that's golf, and it's early, and one great tournament erases that, and you just got to move on. And we actually, it's a nice time to have a couple weeks off before the SMU tournament in Dallas, because I think it's good to kind of take a little break and work on what we need to work on, and then you can kind of get a fresh outlook starting back up again in Dallas.
Well, one of the great things about what we have here at Furman is it's not, because it's a small school, it's not a voluminous alumni base, but the alumni base that the sports have are very significant. So you've got people you can go to for different things, whether it's fundraising or whatever. But there's one particular guy that if you need to get some help when it comes to putting, you can call on the phone, right?
We need facts on campus here, giving some lessons. He's the best. He's known as one of the best putters of all time.
Yeah.
So we just need to watch some video of him.
You got him on speed
at
dial
least or something. Yeah, get some good mojo going for next week.
Oh, we're talking men's golf with Matt Davidson here. Let's talk about the lone tournament you're going to have here on campus, which is coming up on October the 18th and 19th, a Saturday and Sunday. Here, the Furman Intercollegiate presented by Ezell Hines Properties. Be an opportunity, obviously, for people to see you play here on your home course.
Yep.
Who are some of the other teams that are going to be here?
Yeah, so it's I think this is the 55th playing of this tournament.
Wow.
Which, and I credit Julie. I think Julie Perry is the one that came up with, like, where does that rank? And I think it was the top 5 oldest running tournament.
Really?
So a lot of tradition. It's been great winners of the event, like Matt Kuchar and Jay Haas and Curtis Strain, like some kind of all-time great Faxon, obviously. So it's a special event, and being on campus on a university course like that, we actually don't play many events like that either. A lot of the events we play, they're at some super exclusive private country club, a little away from the campus, and it's neat having one on campus because then you get support. People are out there, you get a kind of a more collegiate feel to it. We've played it on Saturdays where there's a football game going on. You can hear the play-by-play and the band and everything while we're out there playing. So it's just it gives it a really neat kind of special feel, and it's got so much tradition. So it's a fun tournament, and it's a solid field. It's kind of mid-major heavy. Campbell, James Madison, some Southern Conference teams: Mercer, Wofford, Davidson, Virginia Tech will be there. Stetson's got a good program. There's I'm forgetting a bunch. There's a lot of good competition. But it's always nice to be on your home course. So if we play our game, I think we'll have a good chance.
Yeah, one of the things about if you're playing it when there's a football game or something else going on, the guy can't hold up the quiet please card to the football stadium, right?
Yeah, and from the golf course, you really can kind of hear the crowd and the play-by-play, and it keeps you entertained while you're playing. I think it's a good thing.
Continuing with Matt Davidson on this week's edition of Inside Furman Athletics. So what does it mean when you have the one home match every year, as far as getting alumni back, as far as getting a chance to spend time with your supporters? Do you have events around that away from the actual course where you're able to welcome your supporters back onto campus?
Well, what we have is getting all the players' families together, which is neat. Because when we go to these tournaments, only 5 guys playing the lineup. So some of their parents will, travel. We're lucky to have a really supportive group of parents that they actually travel good ways to see their sons play golf. But it'll be a few of them, and but it's everybody plays at the Furman tournament. We have room for individuals, and everybody loves coming. So we have a really nice get together where all the players and their families can get together. So that's really neat. And then it's not like basketball and football where we have a bunch of home volleyball, soccer. We have one home match, and the women's team the same way. So, it's a time where hopefully a lot of students and you get a lot of support from the Furman people too.
Yeah, we just had Rita Gary on a week or so ago, and it's the same thing with cross
same
country.
thing with them.
Those type of sports who are playing in they're team sports, but they're individual sports at the same time, and it's not like football and basketball where you have you're playing the teams in your conference X number of times. To get that one opportunity to be at home on a weekend, you have to find a way to take advantage of that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. And being right there on campus, I mean, the students can walk right there. So hopefully we can get some good crowds for a college golf tournament.
Yeah, but Matt, it's golf. They can't come and get rowdy. They have to come. They have to come and be quiet.
they need to be quiet while people are hitting. They can get rowdy after they hit. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. All right, so as we start into wrap up mode here, you'll do that tournament, and then you won't play again until Valentine's Day weekend.
Yep.
At the Gators Invitational in Gainesville. You're going to Myrtle Beach in March in the Michael A. Marino Championship. The Hootie at Bulls Bay is on the schedule as well. Mason Rudolph Championship in Franklin, Tennessee. Vanderbilt's, the Tar Heels. I mean, on down the line, you continue to challenge yourself until we get to April for the SoCon Championship down in West Columbia. Do you like... You were talking about wanting to challenge your team. Do you like the way this schedule lays out?
I do. Yeah.
I guess the results will see how much you like it, right?
Yeah. I like the schedule a lot because, like I'm saying, it gives us the opportunity to achieve some high ambitious goals that we have, and I think that's I don't want to play a weak schedule just so if we're not playing our best it can still look good. I want to play a strong schedule so when we are playing our best we can accomplish some special things. So yeah, I'm glad that it's strong, but it is strong. We're gonna have to play well.
So as we get set to wrap it up, you've talked about having a couple of weeks off. You're heading to Dallas to SMU for the Trinity Force Invitational. That's next up, October 5th through the 7th. What do you hope to see coming out of that Bearcat Invitational, where you admittedly you said you didn't play as well as you'd like? What do you hope happens other than the obvious?
Yeah. Well, we got to make some more putts for sure. Ludwig, our sophomore, he's healthy now. He did have to miss the Bearcat. He hurt his hand hitting balls out of some pretty thick rough in Minnesota, and had to miss Cincinnati. He's been getting better every day. Been working with our trainer Tyler, and he's going to be back and healthy. And otherwise, we just got we've had the guys grinding and playing at home and practicing, and it'll be a tournament where the scores are usually a little better than the last two. Of course, it's a great course, but it is scoreable. So we're gonna have to putt. They're Bermuda greens, which our guys, we've got a lot of guys from the South, and they grew up putting on Bermuda. In the first two events, we're north on bent grass, so I think that'll be a little more of a comfort level in the greens too, so that should help.
Have you played at Trinity Forest before?
We have, yeah. We played well there last year. Clark and Harris both finished in the top 10, and it's a good field. SMU, very hard to beat on their home course, as you'd imagine. Good golf program, but But yeah, I think we ended up coming in 5th at about 16 last year. We had a good event, so hopefully we'll get some good memories going back there.
All right, good deal. So again, we'll just remind folks that the single home event for the entire season for the Furman men's golf team is coming up October 18th and 19th. The Furman Intercollegiate presented by Ezell Hines Properties. This will be the 56th then?
I think the 55th.
55th, okay. So this will be the 55th.
I think so.
So you can come and continue helping history march forward and support this program. So 3 matches left in the fall before the break, and then, as we mentioned, they'll reconvene and get things rolling again in the spring on February 14th and 15th in Gainesville, Florida at the Gators Invitational. I know it's going to be it always is a long year, but as we will finish the way we started, before you look up, it'll be SoCon tournament time.
It will, yeah. It does go by quick, yeah. Yeah, this fall is the real sprint. The spring schedule, you can space it out a little more, but the fall, you really, it's really, teams are usually playing 4 or 5 tournaments in about a 6-week span, so that's more of the sprint, and then you get a long break to work on some stuff, and then the spring's here before you know it.
There you go.
Yep.
Good to talk to you.
Thanks. Thank you, Dan. You too.
That is Matt Davidson. This has been Inside Furman Athletics, dropping it on this Tuesday afternoon, so you've got plenty of time to get set for some men's golf here on campus. We will see you again next week. Until then, for Matt and all of us at Furman, I'm Dan Scott. God bless you, and so long, everybody.